And welcome back. Will Worsham and Bruce Porter join us now for this week's Speaking Legal discussion. Of course, this is a combined effort going on, and before we jump into anything, when is the next estate planning seminar?
Right, we've got one tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We've still got some seats available for, and then next Tuesday night at 6 will be the next opportunity after that. And there will be a little bonus content in these.
Oh?
Yeah, we're gonna throw some discussion in there about the current events, the effect that's having emotionally and everything on people, what people are thinking, how that's affecting planning, things like that.
Yeah. And for folks, you know, who possibly haven't heard about this before, this is a very comfortable kind of gathering. This is nothing that you have to do a bunch of homework for or anything.
No, not at all. We just want you to come. It's very informal. It's fairly entertaining. We've heard. We think people actually have a good time when they're there.
Well, I can understand
and we're only going to be there about 45 minutes to an hour. We're not going to take your whole afternoon or your whole night or anything like that. We're just going to answer some basic questions, dispel some myths that people think about estate planning, and try to use some different words, because sometimes those lawyer words are just a little...
oh, sure they can be
annoying or confusing.
Well, and also, you know, as we've answered so many questions, people do have a lot of misconceptions.
Sure.
This can help steer you down a better path, basically.
Right, and you know, everybody needs a plan,
Yep.
and there are different types of plans, and we walk through different ways that people have chosen to plan in the past. Some of them are good ideas, some of them are bad ideas, and we talk about the good and the bad and kind of the ugly of all of those, and then try to help people make a really good choice about what type of plan that they want going forward.
How much is this going to set me back to be there?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
There you go. It's free. Okay. And this is one time when free advice is going to be good advice. So you want to get there because they do kind of fill up, do they not?
They do. We try to keep the groups containable.
Yeah, okay.
So we don't want it to get real huge, so we've spread it out into 2 different time periods, and we've done that for the last couple of months. That seems to work out. Keeps the group a little bit smaller so people can interact a little bit more. So again, it's worth an hour of your time just to learn some basics.
Because it can be worth a whole lot in the future.
Absolutely.
And now. Okay, let's shift gears just a little bit because you kind of alluded to it. You
Sure.
know, current events and everything. The coronavirus is going around. Things are changing all over the world, in our country. There are cancellations. People are changing. They've put money into things. All of a sudden, it's not going to... Is there any kind of legal recourse that people have for these different instances?
Sure. Generally speaking, the answer to that question is going to be no. A coronavirus, just like any widespread kind of thing that would affect things like hurricanes, snowstorms.
This falls under kind of act of God?
It's exactly right. It's called an act of God, and you don't get recourse against somebody else if an act of God intervened in causing them to have difficulty completing their terms of their contract. Now, I have seen a lot of companies, though, are responding
Yes.
and are making some accommodations, but that's purely voluntary on their part.
Yeah, so don't expect it. Look into what is out there. I know some of the airlines have worked with people on moving and canceling and things like that.
Yeah, it's certainly worth a phone call just to say, hey, you know, because of this, we're not going to be able to be there or take that trip or whatever. It's worth a phone call to say, is there anything you can do to work with me on that? You know, the flip side of that is a company may be unable to fulfill their obligations because their workers are sick or out or afraid to come to work or something like that. So, you know, it kind of depends, and that doesn't necessarily alleviate the company's problem either.
Well, it sounds very much like, as in other instances that we've talked about, try to be a good neighbor first.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, you don't necessarily have to bring out the big guns, but it doesn't hurt to ask a lawyer if there is a path you can go down.
Sure. Yeah, always being a good neighbor is always the best way to go about it.
Okay, now I know we have more we're going to talk about in just a little bit, but if you have any legal questions for Will, you can email him at wworsham@color10.com, and of course he'll answer your questions on the show. And if people want to get in touch direct, how do they do that beside W. Worsham?
Yeah, you can call me at 417-863-9455.
All right, very good. Will, thank you very much. We'll be talking with you in just a little bit. We'll continue our discussion with Will and Bruce, so you don't want to miss this.